Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Linda. I'm Linda. You know I love a good conversation, so let's just have one. Today on Conversations with Linda, I have a trailblazer in the fashion industry. She is Brandice Daniel. She's the founder of Harlem's Fashion Road, a well-known agency that bridges the gap between designers of color and large brands. Brandice is also a hometown girl. That's right. She's from Memphis, Tennessee. And today she's here to share with us, chit-chatters. Conversations with Linda, chit-chatters. Welcome Brandice Daniel to our show. Welcome, Brandice.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited too, and I'm nervous.
Oh my goodness,
yes,
no way.
I am nervous. I said, oh my goodness, this is a leader in the fashion industry. I didn't even know what to wear. I changed clothes about 4 times.
Fabulous. You look fabulous.
Thank you. I take that as a high compliment from you. But how are things going? How's life?
Life is good. I am struggling with the cold, so hopefully my voice won't crack too many times during this interview. Right. Life is good. 2023 we're off to the races. Already getting ready for New York Fashion Week in February, and we have a few projects coming up, so it's good. It's really good.
Okay,
I'm excited.
Good. All right. I'm doing a pulse check, because we all get excited about the new year, and about January 10th, everybody starts going down. So I'm doing pulse checks with everyone I talk to, because we're lifing, right? We're lifing.
Right.
But I want to first give a shout out to my girl before we go further in this. I want to give a shout out to my girl Nadia McMurray, because Brandice, she's the one that told me about you. She called me and she's like, Dr. Linda, you just got to talk to Brandice. And I said, okay. I don't know her. And she said, but I can connect you. So I want to give that shout out to her. Thank you, Nadia. And I asked Nadia, I said, tell me something about her personally from you. What would you say about her? And I thought she gave you the greatest compliment. She said, Brandice makes everyone feel that they are her friend. So in other words, you are personable, you're warm. I thought that was a really great compliment.
You know what? I think that's being from Memphis, right? Because when you're from Memphis, everyone is your friend. What I love so much, I'd say to people all the time, is that you can go visit Memphis by yourself and you will never feel alone. Because you will talk to the person at the airport, you could talk to the person at the rental car place, you can have a conversation with the person at the hotel, you can have a conversation with the waitress. Yes. Like everyone is engaged. And so a lot of that
really true.
I think came from growing up in Memphis.
Absolutely. And I agree. I'm from Dallas, Texas. And so when I moved here, I've been here a long time now, but when I moved here, I felt that. I felt a little overwhelmed because I'm like, everybody talks to everybody, right?
Yes,
and so I totally agree with you. So let me also say, I had the opportunity to see some of the footage from your presentation with Nike last month, right? With the fashion show. And I got to tell you, it was phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
Well done.
That was such a dream for us, because when I left Memphis, I said, I'm going to come back every 5 years, because I remember being in Memphis, living there, working there, and I would hear about people who would move to these big cities and they would come back, but they would come back quietly, right? And I remember being so intimidated to go and introduce myself to them or find out who they are. And so I wanted what we do in New York to feel very accessible to my city, which is Memphis. And so I said, every 5 years, we're going to bring something back here. And so this was our 15th. And we've been working with Nike since 2017.
Wow.
And I said to them, you guys have to do this with us. You have to do this with us. And thankfully, they said yes. And it was really incredible.
Awesome. Awesome. So let me ask you, growing up, teachers, even friends, parents of our parents, they ask, what do you want to do when you grow up? Did you know that you wanted to be in this industry? Did you know that you wanted to bridge a gap, do something on this scale when you were growing up?
No, I didn't even know like that was a possibility. I mean, I'm probably a lot older than most of your viewers, but when I was growing up, there was no Project Runway or there were no fashion shows on TV. That was like a whole nother world. Now, I loved it so much. My aunt used to, she subscribed to Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. And I go to her house and she say, Brandice, I got new magazines, because I could just sit there and flip through the magazines and get lost in it. And so there was a love there for it, but no, I would have told you I wanted to be a pediatrician because that's what my mom told me I wanted to be.
That's what your mom told you wanted to be. I love it. I love it. I love it. So how did you, I know you said about the magazines at your aunt's house, but where did this vision come? Because you've carved out a niche for yourself with this unique space of bridging the gap between designers of color and the fashion industry. How did that vision come to pass?
So I knew in college, my first year of college, I went to UTC, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Okay. And while I was there, I majored in pre-med first year in, and I was like, this isn't it. But I we had like a college career center. I went there and everything that I filled out pointed to fashion and retail. That's what I should be.
Really?
So I didn't even know the school had a fashion merchandising major. So I changed my major. And then the first job I actually got in fashion was in Memphis. It was at Catherine's plus size women's store. Their corporate
Catherine's. Okay.
Yeah, their corporate office was right there on Lamar and Knight Arnold. So I spent after college, I spent a couple years in Atlanta trying to just figure life out. And then I moved back to Memphis and I worked at Catherine's. And so working there really opened my eyes up to some of the many possibilities that were actually available in this industry, because there are hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs in fashion and retail. And so I said, knew I wanted to move to New York. I knew that in college. I never visited New York. I didn't know anyone who lived there. It just felt like a whole other country. And so for my 25th birthday, some girlfriends of mine that are all from Memphis, we all decided we're going to New York for my birthday. And so that was my first time really visiting here. And then that opened my eyes up even more, right? To, this is a real possibility. So I think it was a mix between like that job I had in Memphis and me and my girlfriends that are from Memphis going to New York and kind of seeing that this world was actually available to me.
Oh, wow. So let me ask you, your passion is for bridging this gap, right? And you recognize somewhere on your journey that there is a disparity in the representation of women of color, or I'm sorry, designers of color, because I believe that's men and women, right? Yeah. You represent men and women. In recognizing that, why do you think that is? Why is there such a disparity?
Yeah, there is. So the first year I did Harlem's Fashion Row, I was living in Harlem. I was like, I want to do a really amazing fashion event in Harlem. Don't even ask me why I thought I could, because I had never done it before. But I said, I want to do this. So we did the first event. As I started looking for designers for the next event, I started going down our favorite retailers' websites. And as I'm going down, I started researching every last one of them. So I would go through hundreds of designers. And out of those hundreds, let's say if there were 300, there might be 3 Black designers.
Wow. Wow.
And I said, well, something is wrong. Like, what is the something? This can't be right. Then I went to another department store, same thing. Then another department store, same thing. And I was like, oh my God. Like, so when I first did it, Dr. Linda, I didn't know that I was tapping into a niche. I had no idea. So the very first show, it was all about doing something in Harlem. I love Harlem so much. And so it was about doing something in that community and doing something really cool around fashion there. It wasn't until I started looking for other designers that I recognized this problem. And so then I said, well, let me go and see how much do African Americans spend on apparel. So I went to the US Census website, did some research. I said, wait a minute, we spend $22 billion a year on apparel, but when from the places we shop, only 1% of the designers that are sold there are Black. I was like, oh, this is a problem. So that for me was, I think God kind of revealing this problem for me to bring out the fact that this would be my purpose. And so that is something that I never felt equipped or prepared or qualified to do this. Remember, when I moved to New York, like I didn't have any connections. I didn't have any. Catherine's, honestly, I love Catherine's, but it doesn't count in New York as like a fashion brand, right? So that definitely was not giving me any clout. So, but it was like, I was like, I don't think that I'm the right person for this, but I have to do something. That's literally how I felt. I have to do something. And that was really how I got started. Yeah.
Wow. And I really believe that that's how God reveals our purpose to us.
Yeah.
Is through a problem. And yeah, it really starts, a lot of people think that God's just going to speak to you and say, this is what you're supposed to do in the earth. But no, he opens our eyes to things that are going on around us, and purpose is birth. So I love it. I love that story. What was one of the biggest challenges that you faced when you first began Harlem Fashion Row?
Oh gosh, we'd be here for, Dr. Linda, your show ain't that long. Let me see. I mean, I think one of the hardest challenges was moving forward when everything wasn't prepared or right or in place, and when I didn't have enough money or connections, or, it was, how do I keep moving forward despite what I see in front of me? Because what I see in front of me are a whole lot of problems. And so do I see all of these problems in front of me, including the fact that I don't know any models, I don't know any makeup artists, I don't have the money to rent this space out. I don't know how to get people to pay me money to do a show. Do I see all of those problems and stop, or do I see all of those problems and keep moving towards the bigger goal? That was probably one of the biggest challenges. And that was hard because I was doing this as a complete outsider. People would go, New York is very much about vetting people. Memphis is not even like that. But New York, it's like, you're doing what? Oh, who do you know? Who can I call? Who can I call to connect us? Everything is about relationships here. Wow. And so I didn't have any. So basically when I first asked, I asked 5 boutiques to be a part of the very first fashion show, and 4 of them told me absolutely not. Wow. And so it was, going back to them over and over and over and over and over the course of a few weeks, saying, can you reconsider? Look, let me show you this update that we have.
So you went back. You went back. You didn't take no for an answer.
If I had taken no for an answer, HFR wouldn't be here. Okay. We wouldn't be having this conversation.
Well, you're just dropping nuggets all along the way. You and I have something in common. You're a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. And I call myself the dream queen.
I love
You're dropping all of these empowering nuggets for our audience, and I know that they're eating it up. And I asked you the challenges because although you talked about it initially, that I didn't have any connections, all of those things. What you did when I specified what was your biggest challenge, you honed in on what I think is all of our biggest challenge, and that's our own limiting beliefs. And moving forward, sometimes it's not about the money or the people, it's just what's going on inside of us. And I saw it on Instagram. You talked about something that really resonated with me. And you said, don't put it off. Don't keep putting it off. Everything's not going to be perfect, but don't put it off because it's not perfect.
Yes.
And that really
it's never going to be perfect, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Everything will never be if everything is lined up perfectly, you probably missed the moment. And wow. Because usually everything has timing is everything.
Right.
And so you can get everything lined up, but the question is it going to be the right time to do it at that point? And so when I kind of look over my life, things have never been like, it's never been like, I've got all the money I need in place. I've got all the connections I need for this. I've got all the customers I need. Like, it's never been lined up like that. And so wow. I teach actually about, at some point you have to be willing to take a cliff jump. And
okay, hold on. Because I got to ask you all about cliff jumping. I mean, I loved it. So what I'm going to do, Brandice, is take a commercial break and allow you to get some water, and me, because I'm hoarse too. And we'll come back because I got to hear about cliff jumping.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, listen, you all, we are talking to Brandice Daniel, and she's empowering us in this conversation. So I want to take a minute to let you get a sip of water, us a sip of water, get some popcorn or something, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Conversations. Listen, I'm having a fascinating conversation with Brandice Daniel. I'm just going to say she's an icon in the fashion industry. She is doing phenomenal things with bridging the gap between designers of color and retailers in the fashion industry. So I really, really do appreciate you, Brandice, for giving me your time and giving us all of these nuggets. Before we went to commercial break, you were talking about, you got to be a cliff jumper. And I didn't want you to go into that, really heavily before commercial break, because I wanted to give you time to expound on that. So will you do that now?
Yeah. So cliff jump is simply taking a step of faith. And so when you're taking a step of faith, you're not taking a step of faith because it's not faith if you can see it all. If you know all of it, that's gonna, if you know it all, you see it all, you got it all, that's not faith, right? It doesn't require faith. And so it's taking a step of faith, even if you feel unqualified, even if you feel under-resourced, and if you don't feel ready, right? And when I say to people, it's not like you don't plan. I believe in planning things out. I believe in taking the time and building a strategy. But at some point, you have to take the jump. Too many of us plan and strategize for years, and then the moment passes.
And and
that idea that you had is expired. And so now you've got a new idea, and you spend 2-3 years strategizing and planning on that, and you never act on that. And so it becomes this cycle, right? Because you're waiting for everything to be ready for the jump, and it won't be. It will not be ready. Everything won't be there.
It won't be ready. It's a leap of faith. I love it. And so many people have their dreams on the shelf with those plans, with the strategy, and they're watching other people do what they had in their heart to do, but they just didn't take that leap of faith. And there's this saying that has resonated with me for, for a long, long time. And I can't even remember who said it at this point, but it says, you're never old until your dreams become regrets. And so I have lived my life trying not to get old, in the sense of, I'm good with aging chronologically and all of that, but making sure that my dreams don't become regrets. So it's exactly so it's exactly what you're saying, taking that leap of faith. I love it. So when did you know, Brandice, that, I got something? This is it. This is when did the magic happen internally for you?
Honestly, it was during the planning of the first event.
Okay.
I still have my journal from the very first event. And so I get to look in there and read the things that I wrote. And so, I hadn't seen the event happen yet. I didn't know how it was going to turn out because there were lots of things that were missing.
Yeah.
But I knew it during the planning of the event that this is something special. I don't know what it is. I don't know what God is doing. I don't know why he's choosing me for this, but this is not ordinary. And I just knew it in the planning of that event. And after the event, it was just more confirmation. And of course, there have been moments along the way that have let me know, wow, I think this is bigger than me, and even bigger than the designers that we support. It was 2016. It was our hardest year. We had one sponsor that came on about a week and a half before the show. Meanwhile, I'm planning everything. Like everything is being planned.
Okay, but no sponsors, but you still have
no sponsor, and I don't have any money. Okay, it wasn't like I had like a stack of money saved up. This was
but you're moving forward.
I'm moving forward. Forward.
Okay.
And a matter of fact, during that process, there are a few girlfriends I have that I can call and be like, and tell them the truth, the real truth.
Yeah.
Like, and I need y'all to pray. Like this is like I need. And my mom and her crew, my mom is a prayer warrior, her and her crew, I keep her on her knees. But anyway, I remember she said, Brandice, one of my girlfriends, she was my old roommate in Harlem. She said, Brandice, this is the house that God built, so he's going to sustain it.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God. But what I was going to say was after that show, it was so hard for me. Everything about it was hard. I still have no idea how that event happened, because the event cost, I think that event cost like $25,000. We had 16,000. I to this day can't tell you where the rest of that money came. I literally don't know. Like the math is not mathing for that event. So after the event, I think I had just been holding in so much because it was such a hard push. I was a new mom. My daughter was 1. We didn't have the money, like all these things. And there's a stylist, Worry Vice, who styles HER, and he started out styling Alicia Keys, and he styles Andrew Day, and now he's styling Janet Jackson. But I went to him and I said, Worry, I need you to come outside with me. And he came outside, and I literally sobbed on his shoulders. And he said, I can't do this anymore. He said, Brandice, I know you think this is about HFR and about the designers, but at our events, we actually give Stylist of the Year awards, Editors of the Year awards. So we give awards at our events. And he said, but me and my colleagues, we could have never imagined being honored in this way on this type of stage until HFR came.
Wow.
He said, we don't have a platform like this to be honored. And like that was one of those moments where I thought, it just like allowed me to see, oh, this is actually even bigger than the purpose reason I'm doing this. And so I definitely had moments like that let me know that this is bigger than you, it's bigger than HFR, it's bigger than the designers. So you have to keep going.
Yeah, because our purpose is always connected to someone else's purpose. And so that is so key. And I'm so glad and thankful that you're being transparent with us even now, because, you know, people are viewing this today and they have their hopes and dreams. And sometimes it can be discouraging because you think the other people who have fulfilled their dreams had it so easy. And you're letting us know that, no, you shed your tears too.
Absolutely.
You know, before and after.
And it's not like I'm beyond that. I'm working on a project right now that I've committed to, that we got some big challenges coming, right? And I'm literally writing down. God is so faithful though, because I'm doing my devotion in the morning and I'm writing out like, God, this is what we need. Today we need this. We need this done. We need this. And I'm watching every day. I get to write back in that journal and go, thank you, Lord, for this. And not the exact thing I wanted to do, but there's always something to be grateful for. So a part of this journey is, a lot of it is mindset, heart posture as well. Because if you're moving forward in a dream and all of it is contingent on you, oh girl, good luck.
Right.
Like my faith is what fuels what I do and how I do it. Like if all of this was contingent on Brandice, I would have quit a long time ago.
You know, it's so interesting that you said that, because this morning when I woke up anticipating doing this interview with you and the 99 other things that I've got to do, I started praying. Usually I have a place in my home where I do my devotional, I write in my journals. And by the way, can I say, you know, hello, fellow journaler, because I've got journals that go way, to the 90s. Really long. But I didn't even get out of the bed. I was just praying there. I just turned my head over on the pillow and started praying. And then as I was praying, I was thinking about, Lord, I don't even know how people do it without faith, without a relationship with God. I don't even know how they do it. Where do they pull their fuel from? I'm sure they have something, but that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I was so grateful to have my relationship with God, my faith as fuel, even for this day. And so it's just wonderful. And I know it's encouraging someone even as they listen to you now.
It helps you to put everything into perspective. Your life becomes a lot smaller when you start your day out with a devotional. Like and a devotion isn't about what you want. It's really about like, God, who are you? You know, like, and it just, when you read and you see who, like the character of God, you're like, oh, wait, this is your character? Oh, I'm good. I'm good. If this is your character, I'm good. Right. And so I have those moments, and then it just kind of puts everything else into perspective.
Right. That's awesome. So describe what a day is like, because, you know, that was, you just described your first time, but what's a day like? You've been doing this now 15 years. What's a day like on the day of a fashion show? What is that like for you?
Oh my God. So it takes us about 5 months to plan a fashion event. So we're working so hard all the way up. We've got like our time and action calendar. By the end of it, there's probably a team of 80 people working on that show. Probably the first 2 months leading up to it, we're at the venue every single week, walking through all the details, creating a vision for it. And then the day of the event, it's so interesting because my mom and my sisters always laugh at me, because for whatever reason on the day of the event, I can be so stressed the entire time, but the day I wake up with complete peace. I'm like, they're like, do you have a show today? I'm like, yes. But getting up, checking on my team, sending them an inspirational, something about the day. Usually going to get my makeup done. I go to the venue, spend time with all the designers. We usually show about 3 to 4 designers. So I'm spending a little bit of time with them just so they feel seen, because all day long they're like, I usually go backstage to the hair and makeup team and just tell them thank you for being there, because they really are. I tell them they're the team that makes the dreams come true, the designers' dreams come true. And then, it's off to meeting with the sound and production people. And once the event starts, I usually go to the red carpet so I can get photos with the sponsors and celebrities. We honored Issa Rae.
Oh, wow. Cool.
She got our very first Virgil Abloh Award. Virgil Abloh was an iconic Black designer who passed, and his wife came and presented the award to her. And
beautiful.
And so we gave her like 5 awards that night, which were great. And then we honored Janet Jackson that night as well. So that was a real treat.
That's so cool. Yeah. But so you're in the zone at that point. You wake up the day of and you're in the zone.
Yep. Always. And that's been since day one of the shows. It's so crazy. I can be like frantic, and then the day of I wake up with so much peace. And I think it's just my mom praying for me. I really think that I'm
you're making me want to, my tears come. I'm sorry.
It really is. That's all I can really attribute it to.
Yeah, my mom passed away in 2017. And so a lot that has happened since then. I always think of her on the day, whatever I'm doing, whatever event, I'm thinking of her. And at the end of the day, I have that longing of, oh girl, I wish I could call you on the phone and tell you about all of it. So yeah, that's
now beautiful. You're about to make me cry.
That's beautiful. It's wonderful to have a supportive mom to lean on. So you talked about your different designers. You usually have 3 or 4 designers. How do you choose them? What's your method?
Yeah, we're actually coming up with a more systematized method.
Okay.
At the moment, but a lot of it's been on instinct. Who are the designers that we feel like the industry needs to see? And when I say that, it is when people come to our shows, they're coming looking for new talent. And our platform has become a place where brands come to see who are the new Black designers. And, there are buyers there from Saks Fifth Avenue. There are buyers there from Bergdorf Goodman, from Macy's. There are people there from J. Crew and Louis Vuitton. And so it's really important that the designers we show are a really great diverse representation of what's in the market. And so we're looking for designers who are literally, their clothes are telling a story. And when you see their collection, you're being introduced to 3 new stories. And so that piece is the reason we've never really created a system around that, because so much of it is instinct, and not always like, you should have this many years of experience and this and that.
Yeah.
And so, but we do try to have designers who are experienced, who we know are in this for the long haul.
Okay.
And who are doing it. Like, there's a difference between people who make clothes and people who have what I call a designer's heart. And I'm always looking for a designer's heart, because it goes so much deeper than making clothes. The clothes are a representation of like a bigger story, and usually a big purpose for them. And so we capture all of that content during the process of planning for the show, where we get to actually understand like what's in that designer's mind, what's in their heart, like why this concept. And that piece is probably the most fun piece for me.
Wow. And so, you are making an impact on the fashion industry, but on the individual lives of these designers as well. I mean,
I love them.
Yeah. So that's a lot. I mean, do you ever just sit and say, wow, I've got retail stores, I've got people in the fashion world, Saks Fifth, all of those people who trust me, right? And then I have these designers who are depending on me, my platform. How do you take that all in? And how does that feel? Such a unique place.
I don't take it in.
You don't?
I still feel like the 18-year-old that graduated from high in Memphis. And so I don't really take that on. I think that's too much responsibility for me to absorb. And I know that so much of this, most of this is so beyond me. I'm really a vessel for this work. And I know that. And so I treat it more like I'm carrying out the work that God has given me to do. Versus all of this is like my responsibility. I really, there are times when I'm like, whoa, this is big, like, so
yeah.
I have those moments. But I think life is also moving so fast that I haven't gotten the opportunity to sit back and really digest everything that's happened. But when I do, I'm usually like in a big puddle of tears, because I'm so grateful to be chosen for this role. I really am. And so I just, usually I'm crying when it actually me and my sister went to Scottsdale, Arizona for a couple of days and did a gratitude walk. And that gratitude walk, you're just walking and talking about what you're grateful for the whole walk. And I was just in tears walking. I said, I cannot believe God chose me for this.
Oh, wow. I love it. I think I'm going to take a commercial break because now you're making me tear up, because that whole idea of I'm a vessel, if that is something that I think if all of us begin to see ourselves as a vessel, we could do even much more, much more. So just hold on. We're going to come back to you. But listen, I know I can just feel it. There's so much energy. And even though we're like, she's on a screen and I'm in the studio, I just feel Brandice, her presence. She has such a presence. So let's take a commercial break. Let's kind of take all that in, and we'll be right back.
I'm Victoria Brown with Force Success Realty. I am an affiliated broker here in the city and surrounding areas. If you're looking for that perfect home, I am the key to your new home. Thinking about selling? Give me a call at 901-864-3990. If you're on the fence and don't know if you're able to buy, it's a perfect time to give me a call. I will help you out. I will connect you with those individuals that can help you get into a new home. I'm standing by. And again, my number is 901-864-3990. You can also reach me on the World Wide Web at www.victoriabrownrealestate.com. Look forward to speaking to you soon.
All right, we're back from commercial break. We've been having this fabulous conversation with Brandice Daniel. She is the CEO, owner, founder of Harlem's Fashion Row there in New York City. And she's been dropping major nuggets on us about just purpose and overcoming the challenges of living out that purpose. But guess what? It is pouring down raining here in Memphis, and we've lost our signal. Yeah, we've lost our signal. I can't believe it. But I decided not to lose you, Right. I want to just reflect on some of the things that she's been talking about with you. You know, Brandice is so inspirational and so courageous, I think, with what she's done with Harlem's Fashion Row. A girl from Memphis, a girl right here from our own city, has just followed her dream, moved to New York, started this awesome business, a business to service Black designers, connecting them, bridging that gap between Black designers of color and the fashion industry. She's done a phenomenal job. But what about you? Are you living out your purpose? What steps have you taken? Are you living courageously? Let's start there before we get to purpose, because sometimes purpose, that word overwhelms us. Are you just living your life courageously? Those things that are in you, desires that you have, are you stepping up to the plate and acting upon them, putting some action to your desire? Y'all put me some stuff in the feed. Tell me where you are in life. Brandice is the girl from right here in Memphis, Tennessee, and didn't know a whole lot or didn't know anybody in New York City. She said no connecting, no people to connect her. And she said it's very much a place where you have to have connections. You have to be vetted, right? But she did it. So what are you doing? What moves are you making towards the things that you desire? What way has what way has God put in your path to service humanity? Because that's what she's doing. She's serving those who are in those who are designers and those who are in the fashion industry, and she's connecting them. I think that's a wonderful way to define purpose. A wonderful way to find purpose is to be of service. What problem are you solving? What do you see around you that needs to be fixed? And there's a desire, a burning inside of you to do something about it. I think that's a great way to live your life, even daily, not just looking towards one purpose, but daily, living our lives to see how can I best service or serve humanity. Yeah. So I want y'all to think about that. And then let's talk for a minute about the challenges that you face. We are all going to face challenges, whether they are, lack of know-how or finances, resources to get the job done, maybe even those connections, not knowing the people. Don't allow the challenges to cause you to forfeit your purpose. Because as we saw with Brandice Daniel, what God does is day by day, he opens doors. He directs our path. He gives us new ideas, strategies to get the job done. Don't allow those challenges to cause you to sit on the sidelines of life and not do what you're called to do or passionate about doing. Yeah, and let's also talk about that big challenge, fear. Let's take a moment for that. I've heard this acronym of fear being fantasized events appearing real. So all that means is, all of these images in our heads of the what ifs. What if people don't receive me? What if, they don't like my idea? What if nobody supports me? You've already fantasized about those events or those situations, and they haven't even happened. Because guess what? They may not happen. And even if they do happen, what Brandice told us is she didn't let a no or several no's cause her to quit. She just went back and asked again. And it makes me think about that scripture where Jesus talks about ask and seek and knock. when you really study that out, it means ask and ask again. It's not ask one time and then never do anything else. It's ask and keep on asking. Seek and keep on seeking. Knock and keep on knocking until you get an answer, until you get results, until you get what it is that you need or want to fulfill your purpose. And so I want you to begin today, since we're having this impromptu motivational little conversation. I want you today to begin to think about, what am I called to do? Or what do I desire to do? What am I passionate about doing? What steps can I take towards moving forward with it? Yes, inventory the challenges that are there, but don't let the challenges cause you to quit. Make yourself keep at it until doors begin to open. Phones are answered with a yes on the other end. I want you to do that. And then I want you to celebrate. Yeah, because that was really where I was going with Brandice in this last 15 minutes. I was going to talk to her about how does she celebrate? How does she balance time? And when I say celebrate, because I think she alluded to it a little bit in earlier in the interview, sometimes we just keep going and we don't stop and take it all in. I want you to challenge yourself. Whatever steps you make, celebrate those steps. Now, I'm not saying you got to throw a party. I'm not saying you got to spend a lot of money. I'm just saying take a moment and feel your success. Allow yourself to appreciate how far you've come, how much you've accomplished, even if they're baby steps. And then you want to make sure that you have balance, right? I was going to end that conversation with her saying, girl, what do you do when you're not working, when you're not, on the phone making connections and bridging the gap between designers and the fashion industry? What do you do for fun and balance in your life? Because see, she's an entrepreneur, she's a mom, wife, she's all of that, just like us. We all got our own personal responsibilities and personal connections. So what do you do? What do you do for balance? How do you come down off the mountain of work and striving and, moving and shaking and, how do you calm down from that? It's important that you do, because life needs balance. It needs a rhythm that's healthy for you. You can't stay on high stress. You can't live on high stress and think you're going to stay healthy, right? You got to swing that pendulum to the other side, swing across that spectrum to the other side for rest and relaxation. Y'all do know, I heard, I think it was Bishop Walker say, rest is the new flex. How do you rest? I don't mean just dive into bed and go into a deep sleep. How do you rest your mind? Yeah, how do you rest? How do you get off the treadmill? How do you get off of that constant doing and, making it happen? Because that's as important to fulfilling your purpose as anything else. So what I have found for myself that works is I have to have quiet time, because I'm really a learned extrovert. I'm really not an extroverted person. I'm a learned extrovert. So I am recharged by quiet time and alone time. The other thing I do is I read things for relaxation. Now, let me tell you how that works. Most of the time, I'm reading to prepare a presentation, whether that's a sermon, I'm doing some kind of workshop, some kind of empowerment session. So reading can become, I'm an avid reader. I love to read, but I found myself only reading to prepare. And I said, no, I need balance. So now I make sure that I read other things that are just for my enjoyment, for my entertainment, right? So I'm finding balance there. Another thing I do is I've kind of gotten a little back into television because I'm not a big television watcher. I can be at home all day and not watch television, right? Not ever turn the TV on. But I've kind of said, you know what? I need to get my head out of a book, right? Because I've been in school for so long as well. Let me just watch some television. And I get recommendations from other people. Y'all have me watching all this stuff. And I watch a little television. It's my little guilty pleasure. And my latest thing, this is my latest thing. I want y'all to try this. Normally when I'm in my day and I'm out and about, I'm going to run through a drive-through because I figure I can eat on the go. I can eat going to the next place I got to go. But I said, you know what? That is not good for me as a person. I need to slow down. Number one, stop eating so much fast food, but allow my mind and my body to sit at a table and enjoy a meal and enjoy it in the middle of the day. So here lately, I've been taking myself out to lunch, right? Because I'm going to usually eat dinner with my husband. But I'll go while I'm in the middle of my day and I'll just go sit at a restaurant and I'll just, eat. I know that sounds real simple, but it brings a level of balance to my life. So those are just a few things that I'm doing, right? So I want to hear what you're doing. Tell me in the feed what you're doing as well. But what we want to do is take some of these things that we have heard and learned from Brandice Daniel and from others that I've had on the show. And we want to put them into practice. Let them motivate you. Let them get you encouraged to get on with your life. Yeah, get on with your life. All right. So that's the end of our little conversation, our impromptu conversation, as I've lost my signal with Brandice Daniel. But I hope to have her back because she was such an inspiration. And I so appreciate her giving me time, us time out of her busy schedule just to share. And I want you to make sure that you look up Harlem's Fashion Row. Google it, all right? And then we'll also put it up on our site so that you can see on this recording so that you can see where to find her. And let's make sure we support her business. If she has an event happening anywhere that you're going, and then there's some other things I was going to let her tell you about other things that she's doing. But let's make sure we support Brandice Daniel because she is definitely making a difference. All right, y'all know I'm out of time, but I'm never out of conversation. Tune in each Sunday evening here on your different social media platforms, 6:30 for our chit chat with our chit chatters, and then at 7 p.m. for Conversations with Linda. All right, y'all have a safe week. I hope it stops raining soon. I'll see you next Sunday. God bless you.